Hi guys, you find me today back in the kitchen. But I'm not actually doing anything in the kitchen. In the last DIY on a narrowboat video I did, I said I was going to make a light stand for the camera, so I'd have an extra light at the back of the boat which I could also film with. Well, that's what we're up to today. I'll show you what I have to make it with. So here we have it. This is what we're up to today. We have the lights, of course. We have a piece of wood which I've drawn a circle on, because I'm going to cut out that circle. I have another piece of wood which I'm going to cut a section out of. I have the connector for the 12 volts going into the socket. I have a bag of washers. Yep. A fixing bracket for the lights. A box of screws. And some extra wire because I don't think that's long enough, so I'm going to have to extend it a little bit. And this is the wire I have left over from when I did the socket in the back cabin the other day. So that's going to come in useful today. Wish it was actually twin core for this job, but oh well, it'll work. I don't like throwing things away, and I like to repurpose as much as I can. Hence all this. This was the old bunk beds this has all come from. Yeah, I've kept hold of some of the bits and pieces of wood, and today it's going to come in useful, I think. So let's get on with the build. The first job is outside and cut the circle out. Now it's very windy outside, it's a bit muddy and everything. I'm not going to take the camera outside. I'm going to go and cut the circle with the jigsaw, and I'll come back in and we'll continue from there. Well, there's my circly bit. The person using the jigsaw wasn't perfect at doing a perfect circle, but it's not far off. It's good enough for what I want. It's only going to be a stand after all. So I'll just give it a quick little sand over so there's no rough edges. Now I'm going to go and cut out the other piece, and I'm going to take out a section between those two holes. So I'm going to square it off and go and do that. Oh, I did that, actually, forget to mention earlier. Also have a can of black spray paint here. I'm going to spray it all black. I'm just going to mark this off. The length does not particularly matter. I need enough room to mount the light on, and that's all. What I've also got is one of these, and I'm going to fix this to the top of the wood. I'm going to put a screw hole down through it so it'll fix, so the camera can go onto it. It's a camera clip, you know, for the GoPro. Well, I've changed things as I've gone along a little bit here. I've actually cut out two pieces. I'm going to glue them together just so it makes it a bit thicker. I'll mount this on here. I want it to be sturdy enough, so I should drill two holes in there. I shall fix it down so it shouldn't go anywhere. I should probably put a dab of glue under it as well. Now I'm going to go and glue these two bits together, let that dry, and I'll come back later. So the next thing to do, you can also see I've painted them as well. Not the most perfect circle, but it's certainly close enough. A little bit rough, but I was using a jigsaw, and it's blowing a gale out there. That's why I didn't film anything, by the way, out there. It was blowing a gale, it was cold, and it's a noisy jigsaw and things like that. You don't really need to, you're not going to get any decent sound, so I've done that bit anyway. So the next thing to do is to fix the bracket for the light onto the block of wood. I've just marked with a pencil in the centre there. I'm going to drill the hole there, and instead of using the fix and bolt which the light comes with, which is obviously to go through metal and put the nut on the end, I'm going to put the bracket on, and I'm just using a large headed screw which I'm going to put down through. I haven't decided whether I put a washer on there as well yet. In fact, there is a lock washer there. It's a bit big for that screw. I'll see. I think it's going to be just good on its own. It's not really got to take any weight, so I think I'm just going to put the screw in. First of all, let's drill the hole. Right, I just put a 2.5mm drill bit in, and if I drill right the way down, it won't go right through the block of wood, and the screw doesn't quite go right through the block of wood either, so it should be perfect. We see, we hope. There we go. Just brush that into the bin. I'm just going to use a regular screwdriver. I was going to put a bit into the drill, but you know what, I can screw one screw in with a screwdriver. Probably could have done with slightly larger drill bits, but it looks like I've broken my 3mm, my 3.5mm, and probably the 3.5mm is probably the better size, but the side of the 4mm is too big. I need to get some more drill bits. Straighten the bracket up. Looks straight to me. Right. That certainly isn't going to go anywhere. So that's good. Now once that goes onto there, I need a hole to put the cable through to the other side. So I'm now going to drill a hole also here so I can run the cable through. It's going to be just about there somewhere. I've just sat it on top of a bait box, so when I drill through, the dust will collect in the bait box, and also I'm not going to drill through into my work surface. I wouldn't want to do that, would I? Obviously the drill won't go as far as the bottom of the bait box there. So let's put that hole in. Right, I've just put a 6.5mm drill bit in. I offered it up against the cable, I think. No, do you know what? I just realised now it's probably not quite wide enough. I'm going to change that to a 7mm. Right, 7mm. I'm not being too particular here. I'm just going to go straight up in the middle of that screw. About there somewhere. Put my hole. Close enough is good enough to the middle for this job. There's most of my sawdust in there. Just brush any excess off. You may notice there's a bit of white here. That's because I've spotted a hole there. I've just put a bit of filler across it. But when I go around and tidy all this up, I'm going to get the paint back out again, just spray it over so it'll all tidy up. Let's check the cable goes through. Oh, look at that. There we have the cable going through. So now to fix the lights onto the brackets. Just load the holes up. Like so. I'm only finger tightening this at the moment because it's what it needs to be at the moment. Actually, it's even quite tight as it is. There we go, that's onto there. Next job is fixing this onto my base. Actually, next job is I'm just going to paint this up a bit. I'm going to do that outside. I don't want all the spray paint inside the boat. When I put this aluminium plate up around the top of my chimney, I used what was a builder's mortarboard and cut a hole in it because the size of the aluminium I needed, or anything I was going to put up there, it was a lot cheaper than actually buying a sheet of aluminium. So being a builder's mortarboard, it came with a handle, which was attached through the middle of the that aluminium piece originally. I kept the handle for some reason, and I'm going to use it on this project. Of course, I don't need everything here. So I'm going to take this off. I don't need that rubber. All I need is that piece, basically. The screw once again, it's not going to fit right through there. I might drill a hole through. If I drill it out, then drop a washer in there so it won't pull right through. We'll see. So here I am again. Marked it up in the middle there. That's where I'm going to put the handle. It's going to be attached, of course, from the other side. And it's a 10mm drill I'm going to put into there. Probably should make a pilot hole first, but it splits out the back a little bit. You know what? It's not going to show because the handle's going to cover us up. I'm taking it very easy with this because this drill will go all the way through into the bottom if I'm not careful, because it's a lot longer drill. There we go. Let's brush that sawdust off. I've got to turn the camera straight on here. What I'm doing here now is I'm just making the hole big enough for the bolt to go in. Just going to test it. Don't think it's deep enough yet, but it's not deep enough yet. It's another, probably got to do another 3/4 of an inch, no, about half an inch. Nearly there, a little bit more. That will do perfect. Let me get the handle. There we have my handle, and pick it up and carry it around if need be. Yeah, I think that's going to work. The only little mistake I think I've probably made, I should probably have brought the cable out to the bottom and put the handle at the top, because now the cable's going to come round by the handle. So I could turn it up the other way. I think I might just do that. This was the side that I was gluing and screwing to here. That's why I didn't paint that side. But I think I'm going to turn it up the other way. The bracket doesn't make any difference. The light doesn't make any difference. And I think it'll be better having the handle up there. This is what's called improvisation as you go along, especially when you've got no idea what you're doing. This is all out of my head, so yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change it up the other way. I'm just going to go outside again and just tidy this up with a bit of glass paper and just spray some black paint in there, just so it looks a little nicer. Well, things are coming along a little bit. I've painted the other end. That's now going to become the top, so this is now the bottom. And that will get fixed onto there like so. Off center, so the weight is basically over the middle of the disc. So that's the next thing. Drill the 4 holes for fixing that on. I marked it up. I used the graphite pencils to make the markings, so they probably don't show up on the black on the camera. A little bit of wood glue on there as well. So it might lose a bit. I haven't used this screw for a long time. Oh, it's still running in there, just doesn't want to come out. So, put a bit on with my finger. This is a waterproof based wood glue. Not if this is going to be left outside anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Right, so I've just put it on with the glue at the moment, and I let it get a little bit tacky, then it'll be easier to put the screws in. So I'm just going to let it go off a little bit. We'll come back to that in a moment. Right, just changed the drill to screw. I've actually put a couple in because I was trying to hold it and do everything all at once. So there are two in. So that's them in. So there we go. That's a nice handle on there. Now to fix the light in, because I've now gone up the other way, I'm going to bring the cable out at the bottom. I think these lights go any way up anyway. I was thinking about actually taking it apart and actually taking the cable off and rewiring it with a longer piece of cable. I can't see any way to get it apart. At the start of the video, I was using the wire I had left over from putting the socket in. I actually found some 12-volt black cable I had on the boat, which I'd taken out when I moved the fridge. So I'm going to use that instead. So the cable's going to go through there. Now we're going to have the cable coming out at the bottom. So it's going to go on there like so. Now the bolts for the brackets only had locking washers. I've actually changed it over to a flat washer. Reason being is I might want to tilt the lights, and it'll be a lot easier to tilt it if you can move on a flat washer. I think that's lined up. There we go. And I'm going to put another flat washer on that side. I'm going to, on that side I will put a locking washer as well, but at least the flat washer are allowed to turn. So that's that. There's the cable coming out the back. And there's my lights in front. Just going to tighten it up fractionally. I'll put the 7/16 spanner on there to hold it because it's a little bit on the loose side. And a 13mm this side. I can tighten it up. And that will do. Yeah, I can still just about move it if I need to. So that's good. Right, it's time to do some wiring. Well, there we have it. I've just connected those up now. I did it out of shots because I was struggling to hold it in camera shot and crimp them up. I actually didn't crimp properly on a couple, so look, I missed completely. What I'm going to do though is I'm not using the heat shrink. The heat shrink is just too small and it's the only heat shrink I have. So I'm going to tape it up the old way with some black insulation tape. This is just really to hold it all together. Make sure if you get any little bit of a pull on it, it's not going to pull apart. And also it's going to just tidy it all up, put everything together. And actually, as it's all black cables, going around with black insulation tape is probably just as well. Right, just going to take the connector apart now. So there's a tiny little Phillips screw in there. So you need the screwdriver, that's the one. There's the nuts. There's the screw. Hopefully this should come apart now. Well, I've hit a problem. I've taken the connector apart, the plug, and well, I know what you've got to do. You've got to solder onto there the positive side and onto there the negative side. Well, guess what? I don't have a soldering iron, so I can't solder it on, so I cannot finish my project off. Oh well, I'll have to wait until I get to a store or somewhere, and I'll see if I can get a connector with screw connections rather than solder. I'll have to look one up or whatever, because that's just no good to me. I'm not going to go and buy a soldering iron just to do this one job. Disappointing. I'll finish off what I can do. I'm just drilling a hole in this. I'm going to fix on the top here. I've decided that one screw in the middle will suffice. I'm actually putting this not quite in the middle. I'm going to put it, the camera comes in from this end, so it clips on. I'm bringing it back so the flat of that, so the screw hole only goes in one piece of wood. I didn't want to put it in the join, so I'm just putting it there. I'll show this, but I'll twist this all around. Can I show myself putting that in there? Oh, perhaps I'll go the right way around. There we go. It's not quite in there yet. I don't want to jam it right in, but that's how it will go. Well, I haven't showed today, all a mess. I was just finishing off here a little bit, and Kevin on Aslam just went by, Country House Gent. So a quick wave and a quick chat to him as he went by. Let's say, a little disappointed. I don't have a soldering iron, so I cannot finish this job off. But I think you can see the idea of it, how it's going on. Sits down nice and steady. If I want to hold it with a camera in there, I could hold it, and it's not too heavy to hold. Point it wherever I want it to, and sit it down. I'm almost there. I just remembered one more thing I want to do, so let's show you that quick. Well, something I spoke about right at the start was the bag of washers. In my bag of washers, I bought this bag of washers when I had the leak in the pump for the water pump, and I just bought a bag of assorted washers, which I managed to fix that with. And in here there are tap washers. The solid one there hasn't been cut out, which have a nice little hole in the middle for a screw. There's about 6 of them in here. Well, I'm going to use 3 of them. I'm going to use 3 of them, and on the bottom I'm going to fix 3 feet. Maybe put 1 at the back, 2 at the front, something like that. So when I'm moving around, as we know, 3 feet is always stable. So I'm going to put a screw through the middle of those and pull the screw in quite tight so that it's not touching the bottom, and that'll give me 3 little feet. So that's a little job I'm just going to do right now. So there we are, with 3 feet. As we know, with 3 feet it's always stable. Perfect. So just the one thing to go now, the plug. Well, that was going to be the end of the video there. I was going to cut it off there and say, well, I failed. I didn't make what I wanted to make. I came onto my laptop, had a look on eBay, and found something. I ordered it up. Now this one comes with a wire connected. so I connect it directly to the lamp. So let's see now what I did and how it finished up, and it is now completed and working. But let's see how I got there. Well, I decided to go away, sit down at my laptop and order up a new connector. I've just been playing around a little bit this morning. I've taken off the other lead that I added to this because I don't need it now. I'll show you why. This is why. I've now purchased a socket which goes into the... Sorry, I've now purchased a plug which goes into the socket. This has actually got a switch on it as well, which I rather like, and it comes with its own lead. Now, according to the... When I bought this, this is supposed to be 5 amp wire. A little suspect if it is actually 5 amp. It's probably around about 2 amp, I would say, but fortunately, this lamp only draws a maximum of 2 amps of power, so I should be okay with it. So now I'm going to connect these two wires together. What I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to bring this up around the handle. I'm going to tighten it in there, and I'm going to bring this down, and on the bottom here I'm going to fix it into what I call a chocolate block, and I'm going to fix it on the bottom here, then connect those cables into there. If I want to take them apart at any point in time, I can. And this is what I call a chocolate block, or Mars bar, or different things they used to be called in the motor trade when I worked in the motor trade. So all of course I need is 2 pieces. So I've just got my utility knife here, sometimes known as the Stanley knife here in the UK, because Stanley used to make a lot of them here in the UK, but this is not Stanley, it's a Rolson. I'm just going to chop that off there. Chopping it on my chopping board, of course. I don't want to cut into the counter. And I'm just going to trim that off so it's neat. There we go, nice and flush. And connect that up. There we go. And the blue one. I didn't give myself too much wire here because I didn't want it being untidy. Let's go in there. There we go. Let's tighten that up. So there we go, that's connected like that, and I'm going to bring it over here, as I say, bring it down here. I'm just going to put a screw in there to fix it to the bottom there. What I'm going to do is just going to take the handle off actually for a second, so it's out of the way while I do this. So I've just removed the handle off, so it gives me a little bit more space. I'm going to bring that up around there. I'm just going to put a screw down through there just to hold the block onto the base here. You may be wondering why I put the loop with the wire up around the top of the handle. The reason being is I hate cutting wires back too short. If I ever want to repurpose it for something, it could be rather awkward if I have only got the wire or the cable about 4 inches long just coming through that block. So I'm going to keep some of the spare just in case I ever wish to repurpose it at some point in time in the future. So I just have a regular screw here. I'm just going to put that down through the block like so. It's just through to the bottom now. I'm just going to turn that around like so. Break the middle there. And just screw it into the base. Just going to put a cable cleat over that just to hold it in there. This is where probably a smaller hammer would be more useful, but I don't have a smaller hammer, I only have a bigger one, so. There we go. Just put that up there. I'm just going to put one on either side there as well, just like cable's tucked up there out of the way. So that's like that. Now what we've got to do is connect the other cable up. So I'll strip the wires here, and because it's such a thin cable, I'm just going to put the wires back over the sleeve and put the whole sleeve in, so this gives it more to hold on to in the chocolate block. Right way around. It goes in there. So that's connected up. I took the handle back off again, and I'm just going to put the handle back on again. I just can hold it with my finger at the back, screw it up, and it'll pull itself tight. There we go. Completed. I guess I better go and check it out now, see if it works. I'll just put the little light on I have here, so we've got a little bit of light in it. It's so cold outside, I don't want to open the doors up. So, plug it in. Lights on. We turn all the lights off in here. You see it's rather dark now. Let's turn it on. Hey presto, it works. Now all I need to do is try filming with it and see how that works. Well, I've just turned the camera on. It's in the dark in here. We're in the back cabin here. I've got it all sort of as dark as I can get it. And I've just put the switch on into my sort of standing cupboard here with the brooms and all on. And I think you can see that's going to work. I can move the light around, and I think that's going to work quite nicely. And say it's quite dark in here anyway, look. You can see as soon as I turn that off, the difference it makes, unbelievable. I'm looking forward to trying this out. All I need now is a tunnel. And here is the end product. Well, that's another little DIY project done. Quite enjoyed doing that one. I'm very much looking forward to trying it out. It seemed to work quite well when I darkened off right in the back cabin there by the door. But we'll see, won't we? What I think I'll be able to do, I'm hoping, is to go through tunnels and actually see some of the brickwork in the tunnels and how it is, and actually just a little bit more interesting, I hope, in the future. Unfortunately though, I don't have a tunnel to go through at the moment. There's no tunnels anywhere near here, and it's probably going to be a couple of months before I get to a tunnel. So we have that to look forward to. Well, of course, a big thank you goes out there to all my supporters. Really, all your help really does go a long way to doing these little projects. Once again, I purchased that connector with my PayPal account, which some of you lovely people out there have been putting money into. I thank you very much indeed. I'm glad I went that way. I did look at buying a soldering iron. The soldering irons are about 20 quid, and the connector was 4 quid. So I just bought a connector for now that was easier to use. Don't forget, if you're not already subscribed, please do subscribe. And hit the old notification button as well, and the all button. That way YouTube will inform you every time I upload a new video. And please like and share these videos as well if you like them. That goes a long way to helping my channel grow. Well, that just leaves me to say thank you very much for watching. Trevor out.